Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to all participants and the conference committee. I am honored and give me a great pleasure to be with you at the opening of the 9th International Conference on Social Science and Humanities. On behalf of the keynote speaker, I would like to share my point of view with the title, Why Ethnic Rebels? The Veil of Ignorance and the Ethnic Revival in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia consists of 11 countries. There's 11 countries combining traditional and colonial powers that makes Southeast Asia is more culturally diverse continent globally. The uniqueness of Southeast Asia can be recognized from the variety of ethnicities and how people value their culture. It can be seen from the way they celebrate big days, perform ceremonies, and the way they worship and practices their belief. Relations between religions in Southeast Asia are also diverse. Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam characterize the physical structure and social relation in Southeast Asian society. Interethnic interaction in the Southeast Asian region sometimes form a harmonious relationship. However, sometimes become a conflictual situation with causes by various factors. In sociology and anthropology, interethnic ties often pose a situational threat from dominating one ethnic group over another. As a result, individuals will react by forming a suitable defensive group. The common background of the ethnic conflict are economy, inequality, injustice, exploitation, domination, and autocratic government systems. The state plays an important role in managing the ethnic diversity, minimize conflict, and distribute justice according to its portion. However, it's not surprising that one of the common characteristics of the third world countries is the enormous dominance of the state, especially in policy realms. The effect of state control and intervention are, of course, different. On the one hand, state control and intervention can positively impact political economic development and bring structural change to the society. But on the other hand, state intervention disturbs certain social groups. In this case, ethnic minority groups are usually one of the targets of the negative impact of the state intervention that develop high cases of conflict in Southeast Asia. I have tried to collect ethnic conflict data in Southeast Asia country, and I found that countries in Southeast Asia region have similarity. Southeast Asian region are a multi-ethnic societies, multi-religious, and has several records of ethnic conflict that are more serious than others. For example, ethnic Vietnams in Cambodia experience a racial stereotype through inherited verbal discrimination. Another case is felt by the Hmong ethnic minority who have a history of involvement in the Vietnam War. That make the Laos government had the military force have repeatedly attacked Hmong people that living around Chobia Mountain in Saisomon province in north of Vientiane. Therefore, 20,000 of them hiding in the forest suffer from social discrimination and become targets of policies that lead to their extinction. In Indonesia, Aceh and Papua rebelled because they felt that their ethnic history are different with Indonesia's, and even Timor-Leste also experienced the same thing. The regime of President Sukarno forced the unification of identity to East Timor and performed the mass genocide. Therefore, East Timor decided to separate from Indonesia in 2002. The history of Muslim resistance in Philippines has been going on since 1965. Until now, the Moro people experienced marginalization and lead them to establish the Moro National Liberation Front, while in Thailand, Muslim resistance has been rooted since the 20th century. Until now, in Brunei, we can find stateless Chinese that up to 90%. They do not have full citizenship. They cannot enjoy their right as citizens. In Vietnam, the authorities restrict opinions and expression rights and place the Khmer Krom ethnic as second-class citizen. The emergence of the ceasefire group in Myanmar is the result of the state siding with the ethnic majority of Burma. And in Singapore, the racial riots occurred in 1964. It's a result from the dispute between national identity and ethnic identity within the nation state of Malaysia and Singapore. The indigenous religion and ethnic relation in Malaysia looks neutral and calm on the surface, but the fact is very competitive. Ethnic riot and communal violence either occurred in Kuala Lumpur between ethnic Malays and Chinese, with at least 196 fatalities. And the last one is in Cambodia, Pol Pot regime of Khmer Rouge expand racial hatred and determines people's social status based on ethnicity. Pol Pot mobilized Khmer Rouge sympathizers to discriminate and destroy the Vietnams in Cambodia. Then the case of ethnic conflict in Southeast Asia leaving a big question. Why ethnic rebels? What is the reason? Theoretically, we should understand that every ethnicity has its own ethnic identity. The ethnic identity is often considered as a social construction and most often become a frame of individuals to identify feelings of belonging of each other because of several things such as similar tradition, behavior, value, and beliefs. While facing a conflictual situation, someone tends to use their ethnic identity and ethnic boundary, so the ethnic revival is occur. In this context, the ethnic revival is defined as an ideological movement to achieve and maintain autonomy, unity, and identity for population whose members are determined to form a potential and entire nation. We come back to the question why ethnic rebels. Rawls' justice theory and the concept of veil of ignorance will help us to answer the question. Rawls is known for his work on justice. In terms of that, Rawls' veil of ignorance probably become one of the most influential works on 20th century. He is an American political philosopher who published several monumental works such as Theory of Justice, Political Liberalism, The Law of People, and Justice as Fairness. He also formulated three important concepts, namely justice as fairness, the principle of justice, and the original position. Justice as fairness in terms of social justice can only be accepted by society if the state provides a system of fairness and an individual freedom for its people. By setting aside ethnic identity background, the state is expected to regulate competition between ethnic groups by prioritizing a system of fairness. Fairness itself is defined as a competition arrangement based on power of the groups. If fairness is given in a maximum level, it can be assumed that poverty will become a welfare in natural form. In case of Brunei, for example, the majority of Chinese people do not have citizenship because many applicants are fail in Malay language competency exam. This does not meet the principle of fairness because can you imagine that it's difficult for the ethnic Chinese to meet the criteria of high mastery of the Malay language. Vietnam's authorities restrict opinion and expression right and place the Khmer Krom as a second-class citizens. This caused them to be ethnically backward in various aspects. And the same thing happened to ethnic Acehnese in Indonesia, who were forced to compete with ethnic Javanese sent by the Indonesian government to exploit Aceh natural resources. The second concept is the principle of justice. Rawls explained that this principle consists of two principles. The first one is principle of fair equality and opportunity, and the second one is the difference principle. These two principles form an egalitarian justice. The principle of fair equality of opportunity is a principle that wants every individual to get the same opportunity so that the greatest equal liberty is formed. While the difference principle explains that if there are a social economic difference in society, then the state has a role to regulate these differences to provide the greatest benefit to the less fortunate. The ultimate goal is to realize the condition of social justice. In Southeast Asian countries, I would like to say that most ethnic or indigenous people get privilege from the state. The emergence of the Campfire group in Myanmar is the result of the state siding with the ethnic majority of Burmese. The Philippine government also marginalized the Moro people. The granting of privilege to the majority caused other ethnic groups not to get the same opportunities. The difference show in the diversity of ethnic identities cannot be regulated by the state, so that social justice cannot be realized. All right, we can see the roots of ethnic revival by these pictures. The ethnic identity become a place for minorities to take protection when face a conflictual situation. The ethnic member will seeking their ethnic identity and contrast between we and other. Ethnic identity may be a combination of ethnic, religion, gender, class, and other layers. And ethnic identity build ethnic sentiment to form ethnic revival in rebellion. The goals are various: separating oneself from the state, gaining autonomy, recognizing minority rights, and justice in all aspects. Then what should we do? Rawls proposed the third concept, namely the original position, which explains how to achieve justice. Rawls says that the original position is a hypothetical situation where personal things are behind the veil of ignorance. Rawls described the veil of ignorance should be worn by those who wish to apply justice. And he suggests that you can imagine yourself in an original position and wearing the veil of ignorance. Then by wearing that, a person will know nothing about himself, about his abilities, physical status, and his social position in society. That we can imagine that if the state and its apparatus wear a veil of ignorance, they can properly ignore personal things. The implication is objectivity in considering how justice should be distributed. The veil of ignorance will help state avoid bias view of the ethnic majority or minority, indigenous or non-indigenous. Okay, a person who sit in a government will ensure that his attention will be drawn to society if he wears a veil of ignorance. That roles understand the veil of ignorance is a tool like someone to think clearly and protect someone from knowing certain fake that they can use to support a community member. The last is I want to draw a conclusion that discussion about ethnic conflict in Southeast Asia can explain several important things. First, ethnic identity function as a marker that distinguish one ethnicity from another, and its component can be as diverse as language, religion, tribes, or family, and ethnic conflict is closely related to this identity. Second, unfortunately, these differences in identity often trigger the conflict in Southeast Asia. Together with ethnic identity, history can influence the ethnic relation in the present. The conflictual situation cause ethnic identity and history to generate collective sentiment and lead to the ethnic revival. And third, rebellion among ethnicity occurs because the state is failed to implement the three social justice concepts, and the state cannot organize a fairness system in a multi-ethnic society. Furthermore, the state is often negligent in transforming ethnic differences into the principle of their equality of opportunity. The state found it difficult to put itself to the original position and respect the ethnic equality. And to achieve social justice, the state must use the veil of ignorance to be able to create policies that are not ethnically biased. That's all. If you have any question or need more discussion about this topic, you can reach me by email. Thank you for watching my presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.